PYX106, Quinn and Cantera.
It's 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti. Happy Thanksgiving. A little early, but we're not going to talk to you probably.
Paul,
Nope.
what kind of pie guy are you? Pumpkin, pecan, apple?
Yeah, so, coconut cream.
What?
If I were to just pick one pie, it's odd, and it's hard to find at Thanksgiving dinner, but apple's certainly number 2.
You must get the
Wow.
hairy
Maybe
eyeball
different.
from your family. Who orders coconut cream on Thanksgiving?
I don't know that I've ever heard of that. Good
It's
for you.
hard to find.
I
Yeah,
like the
it
unique
sure is.
pie from
You know
Paul
the laws.
Harding.
Is that even legal?
Yeah, you don't get the same amount of time in the lockup for key lime pie at Thanksgiving. All right.
All right, so Paul's going to help us out with a story we've been following, and you guys may have seen over the weekend. But a Utah woman has been charged with lewdness in her own home after her stepchildren walked into a room and saw her bare breasts. The way I think I read it was her and her husband like working in the house or the garage.
Right.
He took his shirt off. She did the same. The stepkids showed up, and she thought this would be a good time.
Teaching moment.
As a feminist, this would be a good teaching moment.
Right.
And I guess their mother got mad, and that's where the lawsuit stemmed from. Did I set that up
Here's
right?
the quote from her really quickly, just so we get it specific. Explained that she considered herself a feminist and wanted to make a point that everybody
Right.
should be fine with walking around their house or elsewhere with skin showing. To me, that doesn't sound like any kind of big deal.
But it's in Utah.
Yeah, okay, there you go, Paul.
I think that sort of kind of plays it out. We're in Utah, super conservative. We've got this statute on the books, and we have some unique statutes on the books here in New York that were maybe written 100 or 150 years ago, haven't been kind of cleaned up, and this may be one of them. But, of course, the connotation behind that is really, it's always, what's the motivation? If based on what we know of this case, she just, has this work environment. She's got she's got some kind of a spackle all over her. She takes her shirt off, and stepkids come in. Now, when we have stepkids, as you pointed out, we have ex-wife, and that sort of is what I think is prompting this.
If I'm arguing it, I'm arguing that it's the ex-wife having a bone to pick or a chip on her shoulder about the husband.
Certainly part of it, the kids got back and said, oh, by the way, and they told the story. But, when you look at this stuff, it's always going to be a question of what's the facts around this, and if we have a situation where there is more of a pornographic kind of display going on, well, we may have a violation. Here in New York, indecent exposure or lewdness, as long as you're in your own home and, there is going to be different rules here. I mean, if you're out in your lawn and you decide you're just going to go buck naked and run around, no, you can be held liable even though you're on your own land. If you're in your window and you're displaying yourself, you can be held liable, believe it or not, here even in New York. But wandering around your garage, with your shirt off as a female, you would not.
One quick, just rewind quickly. So I can't go into my window and display myself, or is it if I get seen in my window and I'm not necessarily purposely displaying myself?
It is intent, sure. If you just happen to have your bedroom near the window and you do that, but if you're kind of putting on a bit of a exhibition and there's a bit of a crowd and you're kind of playing up to the crowd.
If it looks like the red
Here
light
in New York-
He's
district.
trying to play it up to the crowd. So Tilly Buchanan is her name, and her argument is what Paul said. She's in the privacy of her own home. Her husband was right next to her in the exact same manner, and he's not being prosecuted. My only question for you, Paul, is would this be any different if these were her own kids?
Sure. I mean,
Right?
her own kids seeing this, I don't think we would, number one, wouldn't have got reported. Two, it's such more of a natural feel to it. There's a national movement, called Free the Nipple movement,
Yes.
and it really has gone, Colorado and California and a bunch of different states, and they're the group that's going to come in and support her and actually bring a claim against the authorities here in Utah, not only try to get the law changed, but try to get her some financial compensation for what she's going through. So this thing is not going to leave the news.
She could go to jail. She could face fines, and I assume it would be pretty terrible. She'd have to register as a sex offender for 10 years.
Yeah, that didn't seem right.
So, by the way, I follow Free the Nipple on Facebook.
Oh, you do?
I'm totally in tune with
Nice.
them.
Is that's what's her name? Bruce Willis's Rumor Willis
She's
is
part of that group.
behind that group, I think, right?
All right, well, we're going to keep an eye on this, Paul, but I think it comes down to location, right?
It sure does, always does. Yes.
Utah, very
Thanks,
conservative.
1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti.
Have a great Thanksgiving, Paul.
You too, guys.
Enjoy that coconut cream pie.
Yeah, what?
Quinn and Cantera in the morning.